Mark Rogers TV taking you through the postseason history of each and every bowl team as we go through the bowls. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check out the videos. If this is the first time you've come across Mark Rogers TV, please check out the videos. Analysis from myself. Of course, I always have something to say. I've got my opinion on the game that we love, but in addition to me, this is not a YouTube channel where you just get me talking to you every day on my opinion. But I invite your opinion. I respond to the comments below. I enjoy the comments and the discussion and debate that you guys have between each other. I also bring on the best bloggers and broadcasters that you're going to find anywhere on YouTube. SB Nation, 24/7 Sports, the SEC Network, ESPN, the Big Ten Network, on and on and on. Cactus Bowl preview. Not a preview of the game. We've talked about the game. Please check out the videos again. UCLA, Kansas State. We have previewed the game. I'm looking at the bowl history of the teams and the game. UCLA comes in at 6-6. They defeated Cal to reach postseason play. 4-5 in the Pac-12. Kansas State 7-5, 5-4 in the Big 12. This game will be played the day after Christmas. Right now, 9 o'clock tonight, Eastern Time, Chase Field in Phoenix. Clear the batting cages off the field before kickoff. UCLA 16-18-1 in postseason play. 12 of those games, Rose Bowls. The last 2 losses to Wisconsin. They've not reached the granddaddy of them all since the year 1999, New Year's Day. Cade McNown losing to Wisconsin. The game before that was a loss to the Badgers as well in 1994. UCLA's very first postseason game, as you will see from many of the Big Ten, and Pac-12 teams, is the Rose Bowl, because that's the only game that they were allowed to go to. They lost to Georgia 9-0 in 1943. Then we'll bring it up to a more current, in the last 40 years or so, Dick Vermeil with a big win in the 1976 Rose Bowl. He then got the Philadelphia Eagles job. You probably know him from coaching the St. Louis Rams to a Super Bowl win over the Tennessee Titans. Dick Vermeil beat #1 Ohio State 23-10, and this was after the Buckeyes beat UCLA by 3 touchdowns during the regular season. Dick Vermeil versus Woody Hayes. Terry Donahue had a tremendous bowl run at UCLA. He went 8-4-1, including 3-1 in the Rose Bowl, won 3 consecutive Rose Bowls. Donahue there from 1976 to 95. He defeated Miami, Jimmy Johnson, Bernie Kosar in the Fiesta Bowl in 1984, 39-37. Troy Aikman with Donahue on the sidelines, 2-0. An Aloha Bowl win against Florida, 20-16, and a 17-3 Cotton Bowl win over Arkansas when UCLA was a top 10 team. Jim Mora, of course, just ousted as head coach, went 2-2 in postseason play. The high water mark, ironically, for this UCLA team under Mora was defeating Kansas State just 3 years ago in the Alamo Bowl. That finished up a 10-3 campaign for UCLA and a number 10 ranking, top 10 ranking nationally to finish the season. All right, Paul Perkins was the game MVP in that one over the Wildcats. Then in 2015, UCLA's last trip to postseason play, they were blasted by Nebraska. 5-7 Nebraska team, 37-29. All right, for Kansas State, 8-12 all-time in postseason play, and get this, Bill Snyder's 8-11. He has taken them to all but one postseason game, and that was head coach Jim Dickey losing the 1982 Independence Bowl to Wisconsin 14-3. All right, the 1998 Alamo Bowl sticks out to me. Billy Dickens at quarterback for Purdue under Joe Tiller. We didn't know Joe Tiller. He had come over from Wyoming at that point. Kansas State missed out on the national championship game, the first BCS title game by about that much, losing to Texas A&M in overtime. They got knocked out of the national championship game, had to play lowly 7-4 Purdue in the Alamo Bowl, and they lost 37-34 in that one. Actually, Billy Dickens won the previous year against Oklahoma State. That was, in fact, how could I make this mix up? Drew Brees. Drew Brees won that game for Purdue. All right. Bill Snyder, back to Kansas State, has taken the Wildcats to 3 Cotton Bowls and 3 Fiesta Bowls. They most notably, and most recently, I should say, with a win over Texas A&M in the SEC last year, 33-28 at the Texas Bowl. All-time series between these clubs, 2-1 UCLA. They won the bowl game we mentioned. They also won in 2009, 23-9, and in 2010, Kansas State came back with a 31-22 win. All right. This bowl game, the Cactus Bowl, was once the Copper Bowl. It started in 1989 as the Copper Bowl, then transitioned to the Insight Bowl, the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl, and Kansas State won one of these, the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl, a few years ago against Michigan, 31-14, with Shane Morris at quarterback. And then last year, Baylor pulled off an upset as a double-digit underdog against Boise State, 31-12. My look at the illustrious history of the Copper, Insight, Buffalo Wild Wings, and now Cactus Bowl, and the postseason histories for UCLA and Kansas State. Enjoy the game tonight. I will as well, and we'll bring you instant analysis of Kansas State and UCLA right here on Mark Rogers TV.